welcome to Asia Business Tonight. I'm Caleb Goddard in Hong Kong. Poor Francois Monet joins us. He's the Managing Director for Southeast Asia and Australasia at Credit Suisse Private Banking. Bienvenue, Asia Business Tonight. Thanks for joining us. Turnaround late in the day for shares of Australia's biggest bank. Let's tap the intellect of Willie Pesic, our columnist in Tokyo, breaking out the heavy lumber. Things are chipper for the world's biggest chip maker. That's quite a lot for making copies. China, the country's top banking regulator, told Bloomberg News he has asked some banks to slow lending. Wei-Du has more.
Caleb, China's markets are the absolute epicenter of damage today.
Bloomberg's Zeb Eckert with a closer look at what those measures mean. And Zeb, banks really bore the brunt of today's losses, didn't they?
Caleb, no doubt about it. Good evening to you. Banks clearly in the midst of a sell-off. This story to be continued, Caleb.
All in the balance. Thanks for that, Zeb. Microsoft and Intel, two other semi-monopolistic companies there in the tech industry, tried to move away from their core business into the device business. Microsoft's iTablets seem to have flopped. Xbox is in a narrow market. Intel tried digital cameras. I don't think I've ever seen one in a store. Also, headphones flopped. Can Google do anything different here? Is it risky for it to switch industries in some ways?
You know, to be sure, it is walking a very, very thin line.
I mean, how effective is China in policing the internet? Why rely on other companies like Google or other companies to censor their own searches? Can't China just do it for them and allow these companies to exist? I know that some companies that were made nameless, can block websites within their own building. Can China do that at its borders?
They can. They had what was generally referred to the Great Firewall of China.
Shares of Japan Airlines plunged almost 7% on a report bankruptcies back on the table. The Nikkei says its main creditor, Development Bank of Japan, says a bankruptcy filing will aid JL's restructuring. The government-backed bank says a controlled bankruptcy would facilitate agreements with shareholders and unions. Well, that wraps up this edition of Asia Business Tonight. I'm Caleb Goddard in Hong Kong. From the whole ABT team, that's Game Set Match Point. Have a great evening.